Yang Berusaha Dr. Ching Tu, our new KSU for NRECC. Yang berbahagia Datuk Razif di KSU NRECC for Energy, Environment and Climate Change. Tuan Haji Rahimi Muhammad, our Chairman for MGTC, and kepada semua hadirin dan hadirat, members of the advisory panel and the consultative panel for climate change who are here today. So I would like to welcome and thank everyone for taking time to join us for this soft launch event. We are all aware that COP28, as mentioned, will be taking place in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, at the end of November until 12th December. And the COP has become a very significant event when it comes to the international efforts for us to build climate resilience, particularly since the Kyoto Protocol in 1997 and the Paris Agreement in 2015. But we do not want this to just be another event. You know, that we fly to, we burn our fuel to go to COP, having a nice photo, take pictures and let it end there. What we want is that we want to achieve significant progress. We know that we actually have done a lot with regards to climate change. I'm talking about the world and also Malaysia, but also that more needs to be done. There was a study a few years back that said that without what we agreed in the Paris Agreement in 2015, we would be heading to an increase of about 4 degrees Celsius by 2050. Today, we are looking at about nearly 4 degrees Celsius. So it depends on whether you look at the glass half full or half empty. So it's still a long way to go to the within 1.5 degrees. But it means that we managed to achieve about 1 degree reduction over a short span of time. So I think that's where we're working at. And that's where we want to put our efforts. And we all know, when I first took office in December, the major issue was floods. Then May, it was the heat wave. And then now it's the haze. You know, and climate change all have a hand in all of this. You know, it's all about climate change. It plays a big role in what we are seeing today. And this time, you know, Malaysia is working very hard. We are currently working on our Climate Change Act, which we hope to complete by 2025 to introduce to Parliament. We are developing our national carbon policy to offer the direction on carbon market mechanisms, something that's long awaited. We are also preparing for our NDC roadmap and the LT-LETS, long-term low emissions development strategy. Malaysia is also preparing, we are working on our national adaptation plan. A lot of emphasis has been on mitigation, but not enough is on adaptation. And seriously, as a country with Malaysia's size, we are a small contributor to global emissions. We want to play our part in reducing that, but adaptation is very, very crucial. And the country has already announced, you know, the Prime Minister has launched the National Energy Transition Roadmap. You know, it's a very ambitious, very concrete goal of what we want to do in the next few years with regards to energy transition. We have now officially announced that by the year 2050, 70% of our capacity will come from renewables, and that's a big challenge for a company like TNB. Malaysia is already committed since 1992 on maintaining 50% forest cover, and so on and so forth. So these are the big commitments that we have. And I did announce, I said that my first year may be slightly easy because it's about announcing commitments. The follow-up, that will be the challenge when people will start to assess me and evaluate me about how far we have done, what's the progress with regards to our commitments. So, at the end of the day, as I said, Malaysia is a small country. In order to make things happen, in order to avert climate change, there needs to be global cooperation. And this is where COP plays an important role. And it provides a forum for countries to come together and negotiate agreements for ambitious climate action. I've heard of all the, well, maybe in some ways the horror stories, you know, like I think Datuk Razif was telling me about Paris. Basically, you go there to Paris, I think a lot of the working team did not see Paris at all. It was supposed to be 2 weeks, it ended up 3 weeks to get the final text. So there's a lot of work that goes into this, you know, that we cannot underestimate. And I think what Malaysia is fighting for also is for developing countries to have a bigger voice, so that there can be a stronger element of climate justice as well when we build up our climate resilience and we fight climate change. So, and the challenge that we have also, I think, is to tell the ordinary Malaysians out there that whatever they do to fight climate change, it will have an impact in their daily lives. Because I think there's always this tendency to think that climate change is something that's abstract. You know, that the bread and butter issues, kalau orang Melayu dia kata periuk nasi lah, the bread and butter issues are more visible, are more immediate than things like climate change. But they are actually part and parcel, because if you do not deal with climate change, shortage of food, floods, loss of jobs and all that will become something that we will continue to face. And I think one of the good things that we've done this year, and I've been very open, is the setting up of the advisory panel of climate change, which consists of ministries, GLCs, MNCs, the private sector, and also academic institutions. And at the same time, we have also started a consultation panel on climate change from NGOs, civil society, vulnerable communities, as well as youth. But a few of them reminded that we need to do more with children. You know, now we need to see the younger children as a big stakeholder. I like to tell the story about my son, who's my biggest fan, but also my biggest critic whenever he sees any part of land being cleared up. But the fact is, you know, because we need to involve the children with us, not so much to educate them, but also perhaps to educate the parents. You know, we have to remember that when Greta Thunberg, you know, her parents actually were inspired by her. They were not that conscious of climate change until they see their daughter being conscious about it. So that's our target, what we want to achieve. I think the pavilion, what we are going to do in COP28 will be quite exciting because of the input that we've got from the advisory and the consultative panel. But it's very crucial. At first we wanted it to be a purely COP thing, but now we've set it up to be something about climate change. You know, it has to go beyond COP, but to look at about how we design our policies with regards to climate change. So just transition is crucial. Carbon taxation is something that the Ministry of Finance is looking at it seriously, as well as things like loss and damage and compensation. And we are also looking at nature-based solutions in the role of sustainable development and technology innovation in enhancing climate change solutions and engaging and empowering stakeholders. At the end of the day, what we want from our participation at COP28 is a lasting legacy of climate action and sustainable development. We've seen in other countries when they institutionalize legislation, agencies, you know, that it can go beyond any individual, it can go beyond any government. And that is very crucial to ensure that we reach a consensus with regards to what we need to do on climate change. And but the Malaysian Pavilion is not just a physical structure, but a clear demonstration of our commitment. It will embody the spirit of collaboration, which is a crucial aspect of Malaysian culture. I believe we will have the wayang kulit at the Malaysian Pavilion. Our chairman is from Kelantan, so maybe I don't know whether it has anything to do with that or not. But I think we want to make our pavilion something that's interesting for the visitors to drop by, and also for Malaysia to be able to tell our story. And the critical topics and issues will be on, again, just transition, mitigation, adaptation, and sustainable finance, which is in keeping with what our Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar, mentioned during his strong speech at the United Nations General Assembly, that we have not a moment to lose when dealing with climate change. Lastly, as I would like to acknowledge the role and importance of partnerships with other nations, stakeholders and organizations. And through these partnerships, we harness diverse expertise, innovative ideas and best practices to enrich our climate policies and strategies. And we believe that such alliances amplify our commitment to combat climate change, to send a resounding message of unity to the world and encourage broader participation. And this just marks the beginning of our journey leading up to COP28. Next, in November this year, just before COP, Johor will host the Asia Pacific Climate Week. And by taking a leading role in this crucial event, Malaysia is again showcasing our commitment to address climate challenges on a regional and global scale. As always, Malaysia will be an active participant in COP28. We will not be a passive one. We will get our voice heard. We will want the voice of developing countries to be heard. And, for us, the work that what we are doing is the work of generations, and this process is crucial to our future. And lastly, as we embark on this journey towards COP28, I would like to again thank all the partners for their unwavering support. We have a lot of good sponsors other than government funding. There's been a lot of good sponsors that are supporting our pavilion in COP28. I believe there's still a short gap that we need to fill. So new sponsors, we are happy to sign you up to be part of our Malaysian pavilion. Your dedication and commitment are really the bedrock for which we build our collective efforts to combat climate change. And with your continuous engagement and the spirit of cooperation that defines this gathering, I think I'm very optimistic that we will grow strength to strength in building up Malaysia's voice in the international world with regards to the environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Mani Nazmi and Ahmad, for the keynote address. I would like to send an invitation for YB to just remain at the front, and I would like to call upon Yang Musa Dr. Ching Tu Kim, Yang Bagi Dato' Muhammad Razif, and also Yang Musa Rahimi and Muhammad to join Yang Muhammad Menteri for the soft launch of Malaysia Pavilion at COP28. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, at the count of 3, I would like to invite our guests, and I will be very pleased to join me for the countdown. And Yang Menteri and our distinguished guests will place their palm on the globe as we launch the Malaysia Pavilion at COP28. Now ladies and gentlemen, please join me for the countdown in 3, 2, 1. Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen, the soft launch of Malaysia Pavilion at COP28. Now, Menteri and our distinguished guests, please be seated. Okay, we shall move the globe first. Okay, kita alihkan. Alright. So, Menteri and distinguished guests, please be seated as we present a special montage. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present Malaysia Pavilion COP28 montage. there you are, ladies and gentlemen, the soft launch of the Malaysia Pavilion at COP28. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude, we would like to invite once again Yang Pertama Menteri with our distinguished guests to remain at the front for a photo session. And I would like to call upon our strategic partners to join our VVIPs for the photo session. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pemodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB. Next, please welcome Tenaga Nasional Berhad, TNB. Next, please welcome Security Commission Malaysia. Please welcome Capital Markets Malaysia. Next, please welcome Bank Pembangunan Malaysia Berhad. Next, please welcome Malayan Banking Berhad, Maybank. Next, please welcome CIMB Group Holdings Berhad. Okay, next I would like to call upon Malaysian Resources Corporation Berhad. Okay, there will be two lines. Yang Pertama Menteri and distinguished guests be at the front. Next, please welcome UEM Agenta. And last but not least, please welcome Cheetah Global Berhad. So you want to with the distinguished guests and our strategic partners, we'll have a group photo session. As for the soft launch of Malaysia Pavilion Cop28. Okay, YBM and our distinguished guests will be sitting in the front and accompanied by our strategic partners. Okay, formal pose first, then followed by the freestyle pose. Okay, formal pose first. Okay, Mr. Photographer, all good?
Any comments or any questions?
Okay, now freestyle. 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 Thumbs up. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, can we give one big round of applause to Yang Pertama Menteri and distinguished guests, as well as our strategic partners, for the soft launch of Malaysia Pavilion Cop28. With that, thank you very much. We thank everyone for gracing our ceremony with your presence. Your presence is greatly appreciated. For further information on Malaysia Pavilion at Cop28, please Malaysia Green Technology and Climate Change Corporation, MGTC, as the appointed implementing agency. With that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you and see you again. Okay.
Tapi kalau awak nak, tak mana. Tapi nak pun boleh juga. Ni new flavour. Okay, satu je tinggal.